Good morning. Today is June 1st. June 1st. 6 months into the year. How did it fly by so fast? We say that all year long. That's crazy. Okay. All right. So it's June 1st, and we're going to start with a daily reflection on the New Testament. And other sheep I have, which are not of this fold, them also I must bring, and they shall hear my voice, and there shall be one fold and one shepherd. John chapter 10, verse 16. Christ is the Lord and Savior of all creation, and his ministry is to all nations, kindreds, tongues, and peoples. He loves the people of the Western Hemisphere as much as he loves the people of the Eastern Hemisphere, and is as eager to save men and women in the Ukraine as in Chile. He orchestrates the events of this life to bring the gospel to as many of God's children as possible, as soon as it is appropriate. Know ye not that there are more nations than one? He asked his servant Nephi. Know ye not that I, the Lord your God, have created all men, and that I remember those who are upon the isles of the sea, and that I rule in the heavens above and in the earth beneath, and I bring forth my word unto the children of men, yea, even upon all the nations of the earth. Okay, so today is Matthew chapter 26, verses 51 through 75. And in this, he's taken, brought to Caiaphas to be judged. They bring forth many false witnesses, but none of them have a leg to stand on. One of the witnesses that they bring forth, they say, this fellow said, I am able to destroy the temple of God and to build it in 3 days. That's the accusation. He said he could do something. Let's kill him. It's baffling to me, that's for sure. Where did that come from? You know, it's crazy, but anyways. Then Caiaphas is like, aren't you going to defend yourself? And he says, what? You guys are going to do what you guys are going to do. This is all part of the plan. What? And then Peter denies Christ. So that's what happens in these verses. But I thought it was interesting that the accusation was that he said he could destroy the temple and then rebuild it. Very, just, goodness gracious. How dare he? It's the Bible, and blasphemy is apparently a very, very big sin. So we don't want to. But goodness gracious, people. Goodness gracious, for heaven's sakes. Okay. Now, 51 through 75. Let's see what Ludlow has to say. Okay. For verses 57 through 68, the vile and demeaning indignities heaped upon the Son of God this night were planned in the courts of hell and executed by human demons who had surrendered their wills to Satan. Betrayed with a traitor's kiss, arrested and bound by an armed mob, he was taken first before Annas, a former high priest who dominated Caiaphas and the Jewish political scene. There can be no claim of legality or justice in arraigning Christ, as it were, before a private citizen. The act, designed to create inquisitional opportunities, merely gratified the pride and dramatized the power of that evil conspirator. Annas sent Jesus to Caiaphas, the official high priest, with whom were assembled the chief priests, elders, and scribes. Annas himself was probably present also, and included in the mob-type group were enough, at least, of the Sanhedrin to form a quorum. Through long hours they questioned, smote, and spit upon their king. How much of this Inquisition was part of the formal trial before the Sanhedrin is not clear. But when the morning came, that body of Jewish jurists took formal action against Jesus and sent him to Pilate to have their death decree ratified. Excuse me. Okay, so when they are talking about the witnesses, it says that in verses 59 and 60 that the chief priests and elders sought false witness against Jesus, and though many false witnesses came, they found they none. The Joseph, which I was like a little bit confused about, but it says the Joseph Smith translation clarifies the situation. Yea, though many false witnesses came, they found none that could accuse him. The testimony of the false witnesses was not substantiated by the facts. The nearest even false witnesses could come to testifying against Jesus was to hark back some 3.5 years to his statement, destroying this temple, and in 3 days I will raise it up. That the chief priests and scribes knew he meant the temple of his body and not the temple of God, as the false witnesses testified, is evident from their own subsequent statement to Pilate about Jesus rising again the 3rd day. Thus, despite all their search for at least 2 liars and perjurers who would agree on some one point, they found none. Their verdict of guilty was to be left without even a false witness to support it. He said something. Oh my goodness. He said something. He said he was going to live again. Oh my gosh. Death. Could you, I mean, it kind of happens now in the sense where you get canceled for saying something, and you're just like, yeah, I'm allowed to say that. There's this thing, it's called freedom of speech. As long as I'm not calling people to action, I can say whatever I want to say. It's ridiculous. I can't believe that somebody could die because of his words. Okay. In verse 63, Jesus held his peace could have been translated more literally, Jesus kept silent. The court had found nothing for which they could sentence Jesus, so apparently they were hoping he would say something they could interpret as being incriminating. There was nothing to answer. No consistent or valid testimony had been presented against him. Therefore, he stood in dignified silence. Then Caiaphas, in violation of the legal prescription against requiring any person to testify in his own case except voluntarily and on his own initiative, not only demanded an answer from the prisoner, but exercised the potent prerogative of the high priestly office to put the accused under oath as a witness before the sacerdotal Sacerdotal. I can't pronounce that, sorry. Court. And the high priest answered and said unto him, I adjure thee by the living God, that thou tell us whether thou be the Christ, the Son of God. The fact that the distinct specification of the Christ and the Son of God is significant in that it implies the Jewish expectation of a Messiah. but does not acknowledge that he was to be distinctively of divine origin. Nothing that nothing that had gone before can be construed as a proper foundation for this inquiry. The charge of sedition was about to be superseded by one of greater enormity, that of blasphemy. The demand, "I adjure thee by the living God," required a response, as suggested in Leviticus 5:1. Only then did Jesus answer them. Boom, they are going hard at him. They kind of gloss over this sort of scene in this chapter. But if this interrogation, this tribunal, this court is lasting for hours, if Paul, or is it, I think, Peter is able to sit outside and wander around and, wait for things to happen till the cock crows, clearly this scene is taking place for hours and hours. And lately, while I'm crafting or while I'm at work, I've been watching some like true crime videos on YouTube, these interrogations that happen, and they last hours and hours. And the interrogation is interesting because you get to see the way that the person speaks or how they try to avoid the questions, their demeanor, how they sit, what they do with their mouth, their facial tics, their hands, when they start to get suspicious. It's interesting. And so I want to see a little bit more. I want to see what these accusers are doing, who they bring forth, what they testified. There was one case where these women falsely accused this man, and he was sentenced to like over 200 years in jail because of these women who accused him, and they said they'd never seen him before except for when they got up on the stand to testify against him. Now, I suppose if you're being paid to testify against a person, I don't know, why this person's being set up. I'm sitting there going, why would you lie? Yesterday at work, I had many customers lie to me. We had a claim, I'm digressing, I realize this. We had a claim where this guy sent out tools and bulbs, right? That's the description he gave us. The box was sealed. I didn't take the package, but the package description says work tools and bulbs. And then a claim comes in saying that all of it's broken, and UPS is like, it was full of Jack Daniels bottles, which is illegal to ship alcohol unless you're a licensed dealer. So of course he lied, but it's like, why lie? Clearly you didn't package it well enough that it's not going to get broken in transit. Why lie? Again, this woman came in with an Amazon package. It needed to be boxed up. I said, it needs a shipping container. It needs a box or a bag. Did you keep the one it came in? No, it came just like this. I'm looking at the package. There's no shipping label on it. Why are you lying to me? I can call you out on your lie right here and right now. Why are you lying? Why are you lying? I don't get liars. I get the necessity to a white lie here and there. I have lied in my life, yes. But over the simple things, no. I lie to get out of going to social engagements, right? My friends used to want to hang out when I lived in Washington. And I'd be like, oh, I'm busy with family. Because I didn't want to go out, Yes, it's a lie and it's wrong. But I see the necessity for a white lie to save somebody's feelings, But when Malia asks me if an outfit looks good on her, I will tell her the truth because I don't want her going out looking horrible in an outfit. It's like, you know what, maybe go put on a different shirt, or I don't know. Anyways, who are these people who they convinced to lie? Judas betrayed Jesus for 30 pieces of silver. What did these people do it for? Anyways, I'm digressing completely and utterly. Let's see if it says anything about it doesn't say anything about Peter weeping bitterly, but it does have this for the last couple of verses of the chapter. In this well-known account of Peter's denial or disowning, note that he never denied the divinity of Jesus Christ. He rather denied knowing the man, Jesus. Much of the criticism of Simon Peter is centered on his denial of his acquaintance with the Master. This has been labeled cowardice. Are we sure of his motive in that recorded denial? He had already given up his occupation and placed all worldly goods on the altar for the cause. If we admit that he was cowardly and denied the Lord through timidity, we can still find a great lesson. Has anyone more completely overcome mortal selfishness and weakness? Has anyone repented more sincerely? Peter has been accused of being harsh, indiscreet, impetuous, and fearful. If all these were true, then we still ask, has any man ever more completely triumphed over his weaknesses? And that's Spencer W. Kimball's Speeches of the Year 1971. Good point. Of course, a prophet's going to bring it back to us. And what Jeffrey said yesterday in the reading about, we don't know if Christ told him, you know what, for your own safety and for the gospel's sake, just say you don't know me right now, okay? If anybody says, are you his disciple during the trial, just, deny me. Or say you don't know me. We don't know what happened or what advice was given or counsel, as Jeffrey says. And so we can't say, oh, he was such a coward. We need to tarnish his good name or whatever. We don't know this, just like much of the Bible, we don't know the situation. All we can do is take a lesson from it. Like we talked about yesterday, have we ever been Peter? Have we ever denied knowing Jesus? Have we denied, he never denied that he was the Son of God. He just denied knowing him. Has that been us? Have we done that? Have we denied our faith? Have we tried to hide it? Because we thought we would be safer. Okay. It is June 1st, and I'm going to leave you with a prayer from a diary of prayer. Look at that. We're almost back to where we started last year. All right, we've got two for today. One is Armenian liturgy, and one is Gitanjali, number 10, collected poems and plays of Rabindranath Tagore. Okay. Thou who didst spread thy creating arms to the stars, strengthen our arms with power to intercede when we lift up our hands unto thee. Oh, sorry. This first set of prayers is for the poor and homeless, the refugees, the lonely, the unemployed, and those who work is too hard. All right. Here is thy footstool, and there rest thy feet, where live the poorest and lowliest and lost. When I try to bow to thee, my obeisance cannot reach down to the depth where thy feet rest among the poorest and lowliest and lost. Pride can never approach to where thou walkest in the clothes of the humble among the poorest and lowliest and lost. My heart can never find its way to where thou keepest company with the companionless among the poorest, the lowliest, and the lost. All right. That was Matthew chapter 26, verses 51 through 75. And tomorrow we do Learn of Me, chapter 47. We will see you then. Have a great day. Bye.